the hour. Come on up, Eric. So what they don't know and what you don't know is that everyone gets to take down the screen afterwards. Thank you so much for being quiet. No. Congratulations.
Thank
How
you.
you feeling?
Good. Big, big weight lifted, so that's cool.
Good. I'm fine.
Should we get the rest of the
Yes, I
group?
was gonna say,
Anyone
go
who
ahead.
worked on the film?
Anyone? Come on
Please.
down.
Please.
Start going across there, folks. Congratulations.
I promise there were some girls on set too.
So, if you don't mind passing that microphone around, we're recording it right over there, so I'd like to have as loud as it can be.
Awesome.
So, how's everyone else feeling? Good? Good. Well, this has been an incredible experience, I just want to say off the top. You know, when the film came in, it was something unexpected. It was something that had an emotional core to it. And I will say that the final act of it is hard for me to watch, and I've seen it about 4 times now. So I want to say that to you. With that being said though, talk about first entering the genesis of this project, because this went through a lot to get here.
Yeah. So I knew the next thing I wanted to do was a horror movie, but I knew I couldn't also just do like a straightforward one. I wanted to make it like drama-y and implement improv and all that stuff. So basically, my friend Ashley had a cabin in the woods, and I went there, and I was like, oh my god, we have to film a horror movie here. It's freaky, all those deer heads. It's crazy. So I kind of reverse engineered the plot with my co-writers, Derek and Gwyn, from just all the things we had at our disposal. We had the cabin, we had your mini DV camera, and your dad's car. We had Mikey, which I just use him for whatever I want. And thank you. Yeah. And yeah, basically just took all those pieces and put together a film.
Fair enough. And that's the great thing about filmmaking. You bring together people you care about, you bring together friends, you ask them to do impossible things and make something that's magical up there. Going across the board, whoever would like to answer this, and I'm curious with young man with you with the jaws of the shark right now. No, you with the jaws of the shark right there. That's an interesting math. But across the board, whoever would like to answer, how are, seeing it finally up on the screen after 3 years of it, what's your thoughts of seeing it tonight and how it was presented here? Whoever would like to talk to that first. Wow. They loved it, Aaron, absolutely. Yeah. They're speechless.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good, okay.
I watched it about a month or so ago in Aaron's apartment, and it was definitely a different experience seeing it up on the big screen. It changed my perception of it for sure.
Fair enough. He hated it. That's what friends are for. Yeah. Good.
So I've seen it a few times, mostly late nights usually. This is probably the most appropriate hour to watch a movie, I would say. And it was great. I liked seeing it up there. It was cool. I feel like I got, as much as I could from it, and I guess I keep reliving moments from it from it too. Especially because this guy made a documentary of it, and it was like reliving those kind of times. Yeah, I liked it. I think I recommend it.
Yeah. It's called IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes and all that stuff, so there you go. And by the way, I want to apologize. Why don't you introduce everybody? 'Cause there's so much emotion with this.
Let's
song.
go down the line.
Go ahead.
I'm Jenna Jabalisco. Hello.
Yeah, what did you do?
Yeah, I was Clara.
Everyone, I'm Nick Caparo, and I played the Watcher.
I'm the Festive Director.
I'm Mike Andrewshevitz, I played Roger.
I'm Will Denola, I did the music.
I'm Drew Ferraro. I did behind the scenes, and I had a stunt credit.
I'm Bobby Decker, and I did the gaffing.
I'm Matt Herzog, and I did Kegro.
So let's throw it over to the Watcher first.
Yeah, what's up?
So this is, obviously there's influences, horror influences in that character. We're in the month of October, so Michael Myers is not a question, I would believe. But what did you bring to the Watcher that wasn't on the page?
No acting experience whatsoever.
So with that being said, what was your take on it going into this?
So it was very much, I don't know, for lack of a better term, fly by the seat of my pants. Like, you know, Aaron would say, okay, walk very slowly and deliberately. And of course, I have no perception of what I look like in front of the camera. So I don't know, I felt like the motions of it were very clunky a lot of the time, and that's kind of how Aaron wanted it to look. It almost wanted it to look, you know, almost in that uncanny valley. And I think it played out very well that way. So that's all a credit to Aaron, taking this guy who's an engineer by day, you know, to an actor. So.
Aaron, talk a little bit about the casting that went into it.
The casting,
Yeah.
really long process, lots of auditions. And then I settled on my friends. No, it was awesome. With that, basically, I knew Mikey was in the first film I did, so I knew I wanted him back. And we all made films together in high school, and then Pat and I just marathon movies in college. And I just knew, like you said, I wanted to make a film with my friends, and I knew that Mikey and Jenna would be up for it. Mikey playing not the most likable guy. I knew he would be able to do it perfectly. Jenna having her face on screen the entire time in close-ups was just a big ask, and thank you for doing that. And then putting this guy in a weird costume and hitting him with stuff was...
Now, between you two, talk about building chemistry. What went into that to make it feel authentic and seeing the relationship that was really high and then deteriorate over the 3 years? Okay, of course he grabs the mic first, of course. I know.
At least for me, Jen and I had chemistry just based on going through high school together. I asked her on a date, she said no. But we got a really good movie out of it.
Yeah.
We played opposite each other in a bunch of different productions. And over that amount of time, it was really easy to not only form a really natural relationship, but have carry over onto the screen. Jenna was really easy to play off of, and when you have someone that likable and radiant, it's really just like you're strung along for the ride. So at least for me personally, it was just like playing off someone who I already had a really good bond with. So it was really easy in that sense.
Go ahead.
Oh. It was interesting, I think, because we filmed this in reverse order. So we filmed from the third tape back to the first. So it was a really emotional Friday night of filming, and we hated each other, and it was horrible. And so I think to get lighter and lighter as it went on, it was easier for us because we had all this hate, and then we could finally just relax into our characters and be playful and fun. So going from, hating each other on Friday night to slightly less Saturday morning to slightly a lot less Saturday night, it was just a really fun progression to be able to like each other more and more throughout the film. So.
Wonderful, and it's interesting fact, shot in reverse.
Yes.
So, the idea of, and for those behind the lens, the idea of night shoots and being a part of it, I mean, what was it like? Pass the mic, I want to hear being a part, because night shoots are tough as it is, but to go ahead and be out there and on a really bare bones DIY kind of production, what was it like?
I mean, all the lighting was done by these two right here.
Yeah, give it up.
It was really incredible. I think one of the last scenes was we did a interior that was supposed to be at night during the day, and I still remember walking out of the house while it was still day and forgetting that it was day. Wow, threw me for a whirl.
Well, I remember we went to the cabin prior to filming anything.
Right.
And that's where Aaron first brought us, me and Matt. And I mean, we had no idea what we were getting into, obviously. And we had ideas, kind of, like there was some light in the distance that was supposed to, I mean, that was just like for general usage of the grounds. I mean, we were really banking off that like for the whole time, and we had no idea what we were doing. And we were like, oh, it'll be fine, you know, we'll get there when we get there. Yeah, and literally the first shot was like this like wide nighttime shot, and we're looking at the lens, like looking through the camera, like, oh shit, like this isn't as, like, we can't see anything. So I think from there was a lot of scrambling, and we got it, and it was great. It was cool, and we did it. And I think from that like initial moment, we kind of just like realized what we were getting into and figuring it out and making it work every once, like as much as we can. I think like even watching it, like every time I rewatch it, was it light time? Was it daytime?
Right.
Was it nighttime? Like, I was
Light time, I like that, light time.
Light time, yeah. Light time, dark time. Yeah, like as Drew was saying, like I just was trying to figure out. I don't know. But yeah, it was cool, and I like that. Matt, you?
No, I think we just kept the energy up on set. And it could have been brutal because it was just night shoots and it was kind of cold. But I think, you know, we got the work done and we got to like kind of hang out and have inside jokes and everything.
Tell us why.
What was that?
Remember, you still want a job after this, I'm just gonna.
No, but I think like, you know, we got the work done and we had a good time. And I think that's really what got us through like those brutal night shoots. That was just having a good time, but also doing the work.
Fair enough.
We did it.
Let's jump into a little bit of the score. For me, I love that. For me, audio, sound, score is crucial, and especially getting into festivals. If it's not, you know, there's plenty of great visuals that you can have, but it's more than 50, 60%, depends on who you talk to, of the experience. And especially the score, this is not necessarily a horror score. This is an emotional score, this is a dramatic score. In fact, it feels like something you saw in ABC After School Special at the beginning, for those who are old enough to know that. But it felt like something that you would see on TV. So talk about what your thinking was when you created this score and an emotional soundscape for it.
I mean, definitely, it's constantly a conversation with Aaron, and I guess what we were trying to do is we were trying to do something that felt like organic, and I think because the danger with like, you know, low budget, one person doing the music, you can't go into the studio, you can't get that kind of like acoustic feel. You're using electronics, you're using samples and such. Right, so that was kind of like in the back of my head the whole time is use acoustic instruments, try to make it sound like living, kind of, you know. So like I think the dream sequence kind of scene was a you know, one of the better examples of that kind of like living score kind of thing. But again, it's just kind of like, you know, watching the performances, watching what these guys did, and trying something and being experimental with it, and then working off of Aaron. I mean, that's the best I can put it.
I love that because you got your beacon right here with Aaron, who's really, you know, cruising the ship there. But to do something experimental, a lot of people, you know, when they want to make it, they tend to stay away from that. They don't want to. But that's the great thing about horror. You can do things like, I mean, John Carpenter is now, you know, he's known over and over for Simple Sin and sitting there with Halloween and everything, you know, and he experiments and he creates something. So did you. So hats off to you as well as everyone else that put this together. So hats off. Do we have questions from the audience? Do we have questions? I know like all of you know him, you probably asked the questions already, but do we have any that you want to ask here? Because we got a few minutes left. All the way in back, go ahead.
Hi. So one again, like congrats to all of you. You did such an amazing job, especially with the score. I think it was such. Well, I think it was really well done how selective you were with dialogue and really letting the cabin tapes be the main dialogue we heard, and everything else kind of spoke for itself. Was that always planned from the beginning, like, or did you really just piece things together as you went along?
It's easier for me to not have to do the score for the dialogue.
Thank you, Becca. Yeah, it was always an idea that I wanted there to be a pretty stark contrast between the current day stuff and then the tapes. You know, current day stuff is all locked down. Tapes are handheld. They're fully improvised too, which was interesting to navigate. But yeah, and I always just knew that you needed to feel the difference between like when these two were happy and together, and then like how alone he is now until he's not. But yeah, and
Wow.
And you know the first 20 minutes is the people who like it call it methodically paced. The people who don't like it call it slow. But that was really deliberate because you know I wanted to make this about the guy grieving. Grieving process is slow and brutal, and also I just wanted to build up that space, kind of. You know, you see him driving for 3 minutes because that's how far out of civilization he is. That's how far he was taking Clara away from civilization as well. And then just getting to know all the spots so that later on during the chase scene and during key moments you recognize, you're like, oh, this is the gun closet, and oh, there shouldn't be boots there, but there are, and stuff like that. So yeah, did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead, right there. And then we'll get to you, Logan. Go ahead, you sir.
So really more a question for Aaron, but what was sort of your inspiration for crossing genres of found footage and slasher? Because I can't think of many that showcase basically equal parts found footage and slasher.
And also Home Invasion as well. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, and I saw Joe Swansburg's name on there. I mean, you can definitely see where the influence on you look like AJ Bowen, dude. You look like AJ Bowen in the film, man. You do. You look like AJ Bowen.
I'll show you a picture later.
So yeah, you'll see. My apology, but you can see those, and your next is a great example that falls kind of in the same vein. So you talk about that.
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to, you know, I tried to make this movie as if I would never make another movie again, and I knew that I liked a bunch of different style of horror. So I kind of just wanted to throw it all in and see if it could all work together. You know, you got the found footage stuff, you got the slasher stuff, Home Invasion. Even though it's not really a slasher if no one gets slashed.
But the Watcher, though, I can see why he thinks that. The Watcher feels like that.
Yes, big influence from all that. And yeah, I mean, I think it pretty much, I think it worked. I think it's a cool blend of things. I also knew that, like, again, I wanted all of the conversations to be improvised, and I wanted to kind of, the found footage genre, I feel like, is a little poo-pooed these days. People they think it's not great, and I think there's a lot of potential for it. Like, you just like, the cam's right there, you know, it could lead to some awesome scares. And so I knew I wanted to do that, and it made it easy because on all my other projects I had done improvised, just like dialogue, basically, just like not really anything too elaborate. So I wanted to maintain that like safety net of like, okay, I know how to do this, I know how to do the improv and the handheld and the lo-fi stuff, and then also challenge myself to do an actual film too, because I usually just like pick up a camera, make something, and then put it out like that week. But I really wanted to sit with this, maybe not this long. This has been a while, but yeah. So I wanted to have my cake and eat it too, kind of.
Fair enough. Logan, go ahead.
I'm really slow because I'm old and I don't follow stories very well, but so I wasn't sure how the main characters separated, whether it was a homicide, accidental homicide, or they just broke up and you're coming back to relive, before the breakup.
Yeah. We wanted to keep the whole thing is Claire is supposed to have passed, and we wanted to keep that kind of ambiguous how she passed. We want you to think for a little while that the guy outside did it. Also, maybe some people have said they think Roger did it, which is a cool, interesting thing. It's not canon, but that'll be in the sequel. But yeah. So, what was I saying? I lost it. Ambiguous. Yes. I didn't want it to be like because then you're getting into like this whole thing of like, I didn't want to deal with like any major mental health issues or anything, overstep my bounds in terms of that. But I did just want it to be like Claire's death is a separated thing from these events, even though you might not think it is the entire time. And basically, this is just this guy grieving someone he lost. The death kind of becomes the cause of death is sort of,
Or if there
up
even
for-
was a death.
yeah, or if it even was a death. Yeah.
So we have to wrap it up.
Okay.
We have box coming up next, but next weekend, the Highlands Horror Film Festival on Friday night. So we will come down to the shore and enjoy another screening, and it's got a lot more. Where else is it playing?
It's playing virtually at Grimfest the weekend afterwards. That's only in the UK, but it's awesome. We're getting a lot of cool press out there. And then Sleepy Hollow Virtual Film Festival the same weekend. Anyone should be able to get tickets for that. I think they just went up. And then fingers crossed for some more. We'll see.
So what we're going to do real quick is we have to clear out is we'd like to take a big audience shot. So
Awesome.
everyone flip around, turn this way, so we're all with our backs to there. Let's get the poster. And Maria, would you? Should we kneel? Take it down. All right, ready? Everyone on three, say for Roger. 1, 2, 3. For Roger. Wonderful. Congratulations, everybody. All right, folks, make sure you fill out your ballots for the audience choice. Give it to the lovely Maria, and congratulations, everybody. Please be careful exiting. Yeah, I was gonna say, and everyone, when you go outside, please be respectful of the hour, because this is a condo community, so if you're gonna talk, go out to the street and talk, please. Thank you so much, everybody. We're gonna start up box in about 15 minutes, so about 10:15. Trigger warning to that one, and thank you for coming out to the Philadelphia Indian Film Festival on the final night.